Sometimes there are things that are a little bit unorthodox or a little bit extraordinary in one way or another that deserve to have their story told to help people remember that they exist. And Commando is definitely one of those cars. So the Commando took advantage of a lot of items that AMC at the time had on the parts shelf, and it took a look at the market and what people were asking for from other manufacturers, and it kind of put them together. Some of it makes sense, other parts of it really don't, and this car gets mistaken way more often for something else than identified for what it actually is. It's still a shape, though, that I remember from my childhood. I remember seeing old trucks like this drive around all the time. And the first time I saw a truck with no roof on it, the notched back, and a Jeep grill, I remember looking at it from all the different angles and just thinking, like, what is this thing? I've had a special spot for this. And so when it came time to find an open top four-wheel drive car to just beat around and take surfing, I was really happy to be able to find a clean Commando. I'm Sam Fankuchen, and I daily drive a 1970 Jeepster Commando. The Jeepster is an obscure model that has been made in 3 different generations. The first was made by Willys in the late 40s and early 50s, and the second, which is the Jeepster Commando, and the third is what's called the Bullnose Commando. From 66 to 71, they only made about 60,000 of the Jeepster Commandos. There were 2 different configurations for the car. You could get a 4-cylinder, or you could get the motor that this one has, which is a Dauntless V6. It's basically a small block V8 with the first 2 cylinders lopped off of it. And that's how the car started. But about 9,000 miles ago, it was rebuilt. It's got high-performance heads and a 4-barrel Holly carb, homemade headers, all kinds of other trick parts, a hot cam. Things that you wouldn't really think to see in a weird motor like a Dauntless. But the thing runs great. I get 15 miles a gallon, and it's really torquey. I can drive up anything. One of the other things that's kind of fun about the truck is the interior. The gauges are not stock, but apart from that, nothing was really added. In fact, things were subtracted from an already Spartan interior. So I stripped out all the interior, and then I put a bed liner in it from front to rear so that I could just like hose it out or not worry if it got wet or muddy. And then I got Recaro seats from a Mark I GTI and recovered them in marine leather. So I can sit in there with a wetsuit or whatever and not worry about it. When I went to go pick up the seats from the upholsterer, I had been working on the interior with my friends, and I had no way to get it there. So I stuck a paint bucket in it, and I drove it up and down through North Beach and Russian Hill to get to the upholsterer, driving it on the paint bucket. And that was so fun and kind of crazy that we made a tradition out of driving around in weird ways. This car was originally in Arizona and then in Northern California. The previous owner had done the paint and had started rebuilding the motor, but that was pretty much it. He had gotten it to a state where it was sort of drivable. It had definitely been loved, but it was incomplete. That was the beauty of it. For me, this is a very basic car to learn French on. And I'd been around cars and worked on them a tiny bit, but everything that goes wrong with this is an occasion to discover a little bit more about basic mechanics. And when we're at Wilderness, I can fix anything with like a box of hand tools. And that's special today. There's really not a lot of cars that are that straightforward to work on. I've taken this car pretty much everywhere you can off-road in California. So to Glamis and Pismo, Joshua Tree and Pioneer Town. I've taken it in Gilroy. I've taken it in the Redwoods on all kinds of trails that I just kind of find my way to on the weekends. It's been a fun chance for me to experiment. I had off-roading experience before. before the truck. But what's nice about this is you can experiment with lots of different types of terrain, and you can not worry too much about damaging the car because every part on here is like $100 or less to replace. It's much easier to compare the experience of driving this to driving like a go fast boat, because you can't really control it if you're not going fast. And so in order to do that, you have to have a level of comfort with all the mechanical systems in the car, the steering, the brakes, the reaction of the suspension, and you really have to be aggressive with it. Otherwise, the terrain can interfere and it can get really dangerous. But that is the appeal of coming to places like this, where you can take your own risks and not really affect people on the street. It's been really cool to be able to share my interest in cars with other people because it's so accessible. There have been so many occasions when I've been driving this in different places and just seeing the way people react to it, and it just makes them smile. It's really special to achieve that state in anything when you know that you're affecting other people in a positive way. And so, I don't know, it's a cherished item in my life. It's definitely a symbol of the different parts of my life, automotive or otherwise. Looking back at the moments in my life where I really had to work with this car, you know, I really had to mean it. It was harder, more expensive, less safe to drive this thing every day, but I did it because I was committed to the project. I did it so that one day I'd be able to introduce my kids to cars like this, because by the time that I have kids, cars like this will be extremely rare. But they're also such a good introduction to mechanics and to where cars came from. When you're looking at the future of our economy here, it's really important to encourage an interest at a young age. So next time a little kid sees this car and it makes them really happy, I know that it maybe activated a sense of understanding or appreciation for math and science and mechanical systems, which I think are going to be really important for people to continue to care about. There's a duality of owning a car like this. It's a very sensational car. You're exposed to the elements, you're interacting with all the systems in the car at all times. But it's also a car that I've enjoyed so much because of what it means to other people. Either my friends who've worked on it with me or people who've stopped me on the street to have a conversation. Preserving it and enjoying it, I think, is an exercise in both things. It's taking time for myself and also using my own personal interests to engage in relationships with other people. Make a lot of choices in your life, some more important than others. The choice to just do things that make you happy, that don't harm other people, and allow you to not take life so seriously sometimes is definitely the ethos behind this car.